All righty, we are live. Let's call the meeting to order. Everyone is here, including Rocky Eaton, city attorney, and Melissa Martin, city clerk. We do have Ward 3 Auditor Blake Noble is on via phone up here. So if Craig Bullock would lead us in the prayer and the pledge, we'll get this thing going.
Let's pray. Father, we thank you for today. Thank you for the privilege to be here. Thank you for the privilege to live in our fine city. God, I pray that as we have discussion tonight, we deal with issues that we do so to the benefit of the entire city. God, I just thank you for your blessings for us, for our town. Keep us safe. Thank you for the ones who are able to be here tonight. Pray for their travel mercies as they leave. And forgive us where we fail. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty, got a couple changes. If we could, I'd like a motion to adopt the agenda with a couple changes. One being that I would like to move the comment section up to the front of the meeting, and I would like to see us doing that going forward. And to remove under orders and ordinances, move number 22. If we can do those two things, there's a motion to do that.
So I actually have a couple things I'd like to add to it.
Okay, go ahead.
I would like to speak on the resolutions. I'd like to speak about AccuFund. I'd also like to speak about steel money.
Where would we put this at?
Resolutions.
Proclamations and resolutions?
Yes, Second.
We already have AccuFund on under general business in 17.
Take that up then.
Well, yeah, I can fit it in there under the 50 discussion.
Yeah. Do you want number 10 on talking on your plan?
It please, yes, sir. And as far as AccuFund, it's more about retrieval of the information.
Okay, is there a motion to keep?
I'll make my motion to accept Darrell.
Okay, we can now vote. Melissa says, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Okay, since we moved the comment section up, let's do one thing first. Last week we had hired, and we wanted to have the kind of a tradition that we would get a new employee to come in. And Andrew, you have somebody with you today.
This is Miss Caitlin. Hello.
How are you doing today?
Caitlin is our new person in the water department, and we've already seen some movement down there where we've been able to, obviously we've been open for lunch for quite some time, but Caitlin being in there is going to allow us to do some transitioning over time to put Angel in a very unique position over that department, so we can deal with customer service and things of that nature, collections when it comes to billing. But it also allowed us to this week start opening at 7:30. Obviously we can tweak those as we need to, but I've always made the argument that if someone's trying to give us some money, or if they've got issues, we want to be available.
Yeah. I'm also working on a Dropbox.
And so still, that
I should hear something shortly about it.
awesome. I appreciate Alderman Stringer's work on that as well. And it's tougher than you think to find a Dropbox, by the way.
It is.
Google it, it just shows you a bunch of generic stuff, and you can almost spend what you want. And then the cheaper stuff is not really what we need either. But Caitlin, welcome aboard. We appreciate you sticking around for the meeting and everything. Look for great things for you going forward.
Definitely. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Welcome to the team.
Thank you. She's doing an excellent job, by the way. I'm trying.
All righty. Mr. Sammy Lovett, come on up here.
Yes, sir.
Now you take the time. You in a hurry? I'm got to go.
Sammy's always in a hurry.
Tell me, hop up here, Mr. Sammy, and so everybody can hear you. What's going on here? They told me.
Somebody turned my water on over the weekend. I keep my water turned off because the water line goes to my one faucet is PVC and it had broke before.
Yeah.
And, somebody turned the water line on and cut the water hose. At my car. Cut my water hose and it was doing water on a Monday, and a friend of mine that worked with me part-time found it and he knew where to turn it off. I told him to turn it off and I went and fixed the hose. But the deal is, they got me charged for sewer. All I did was the water went on the ground. It was just a leak. I don't mind paying the regular bill and the sewer and everything, and I don't mind paying for the water. Whatever y'all do to help me, I appreciate it. I didn't do it deliberately.
Yeah, no, I understand.
This is a normal bill. That's what I paid today.
We normally just pay the minimum budget.
Yeah, I don't never use 2,000 gallons of water. Yeah, I keep my water turned off all the time.
All right, guys, there's probably some questions along with that. And on the past, Melissa probably can pull it up where.
He's had an adjustment, but if it was just over this weekend?
No, it's about 3 or 4 weekends ago.
Oh, okay.
It was on this bill.
You may want
But
to.
it was on this bill, wasn't this weekend, no. About 3 or 4 weekends ago. But it did show up on my light bill.
I think what Mr. Sammy was saying last time was that, he didn't really object to the, water portion of that, but didn't feel like he could get a break on the sewer. So obviously, we don't have the authority to do that.
Or whatever y'all do,
Water or City Hall. So that's why I got Angel just to mention to him, just come to the, board tonight and see what the will of the board would be.
Mr. Love, can I see that bill, please?
Has it been, how many other?
Here's a regular
One
bill.
on water,
Almost 33.
2, 3 times we've adjusted the sewer, and we've adjusted late fees.
I think one time we actually ran over his water line, cutting the grass over there.
Well, no, these are like 4 to 3.
Okay.
We wouldn't have, if we did it, we wouldn't have. did 4 to 3.
I think there's some good stuff in there, but it was up. Give him the benefit of the doubt going forward.
I don't know how much it would be. I mean,
It looks like he used around 17,000 gallons. Let me see what the,
it's $6 a
That's what it
sewer
said.
is all that is,
It was running Monday morning,
Water
and
turned
the
off.
guy found it, they didn't turn the water off.
for like 72 bucks.
well, no.
72.12.
Yeah. What does that say? Oh, that must be after he paid something. So 39.
Pay something to that?
Still owed, yeah.
I done paid some, I paid the regular, I paid this amount,
So I guess it would be,
regular amount today.
72.12.
this would be the one
Paid
$135.
77,
What he'd be asking for.
77,
Is that right?
930.
135.30. That's the adjustment he'd be asking for.
So why do you have to cut your water off all the time, Mr. Love?
But I don't want it, I don't want nobody turning it on. They go down there and turn the faucet on or whatever and leave it running. This time they turned it on and cut the hose.
It's not due to a busted line.
This was not due to a busted line. This was due to somebody cutting my hose and turning my water off. They knew found out where I'll turn my water off.
Well, who is somebody?
I don't know. We don't know. I don't know.
That's your car lot.
At my car lot, yes. I got one faucet,
I think,
and it's got a PVC line that goes to that faucet. And it had broke before, and that's the reason I turn it off every night.
it's a seasonal break.
Yeah.
He's talking about $135. Does anybody want to do anything? I think in the past, we probably have been fairly lenient on this, and I think that's why we'd always try to work with you, but I do also understand the other side of it. But, we're gonna have a bunch of people coming here, and before I took office 12 years ago, they didn't give anybody, you didn't even come ask, because they didn't do it. We felt like the water was high enough as it was, so if we could cut you some slack, we would. So that's the genesis of doing the one-time forgiveness. That's where that actually came from. And obviously, we try to ran into that a couple of times on your side, and everything, but, I assume that, they're gonna probably hold the line on this. So,
The sewer,
mm,
the sewer didn't go down the drain. It's on the top of the ground. Why not face sewer? Why can't I face just a regular sewer?
it's a flat rate, well,
The flat rate is right here.
He's a commercial company.
oh, his meter,
Yeah, his sewer is
That came out
based
to
on
be
the water use.
it came out to an even number like that. Yeah, I mean, if there's any interest, I mean,
How much is the sewer on?
from
Sewer's $39.
$135.
Somebody,
Well, no,
this sewer's
sewer's
39.
No, you're talking about what's the 135?
That's his total that he still owes,
Okay, just the sewer would be 80. Oh,
39.
39.
He already paid that.
okay, we're talking about $39.
I'll make motion to get to, 39 on the sewer.
Is there a second?
Second.
So,
Go ahead, we got a second for discussion, go ahead.
so the problem is we have somebody some illicit act or legal act somebody damaging your property. Is that correct? Is that was that?
Yeah.
Do we have a police-
I didn't do it.
Do we have a police report?
No, I didn't file a police report. I just,
Well,
we saw saw the line and I turned it off. Well, I didn't know how long it'd been on there. I didn't know it till I got this bill. How long the water's been on.
as much as I hate to, make recommendations here, but, unfortunately, if people are gonna act maliciously like this, maybe, maybe the way forward is to have a lock on your water faucet.
Yeah, I thought,
That would prevent this from happening in the future.
Yeah.
And otherwise, we're gonna continue to have this problem, and we're gonna continue to, utilize taxpayer money to offset a bill.
I've been there since 95. I ain't had it that many times this happened. I've been there since 1995.
I'm just saying, we're asking for taxpayer money.
I've had a few times it's broke, but I hadn't had many people, I had people, borrow my water, but they turned it off.
Well, again, farm water is type of water that, that services. I mean, if you don't address the issue, which is, if we can't achieve, we're not ever gonna catch guys sneaks in there and with a knife and swat, in 30 seconds runs off, right?
We'd be extremely lucky if we found
Yeah,
that.
we'd have to sit somebody there 24/7 and like I said,
Be better off if we just put a lock on it.
Either way, I don't mind supporting if if we're gonna fix the problem that we want for prevention, if you agree to put a lock on the water, the faucet, because I think that will help us all out, and then we prevent this happening in the future.
I got an extra hose I turned it off with, another valve I turned it off now.
Yeah, what he's saying, if just put a lock on it, that it probably won't happen again.
Right.
So put a lock on it and it'll be taken care of.
I understand that, but I hate to have to undo a lot of that.
Well, so it's better than you come up here next time if it goes up and not.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, is that water line the same, line that runs on top of the ground?
no, run right down that little ditch,
But it's an exposed pipe?
sir.
Is it an exposed pipe?
Is it above ground?
Not exposed.
I've got a motion and a second. Is there all in favor that would want to knock $39 off this bill? Saying that he didn't get use of this, sewer
With the stipulation that he'll
with
secure
stipulation.
the.
Yeah, we should put a lock on
Is that, you hear?
You give it a next
Yeah.
Don't make us send Steve down there now.
Huh?
Don't make us send Steve down there.
No.
And
Okay.
we apologize, you get to spend money to lock yourself up. That's a wrong way to have to do business, but,
it. There are people out there that try.
This is the first time this happened since 1995. This has happened.
Oh, let me go ahead and make
I've
sure.
had leaks, but this is the first time this has happened.
Appreciate it, buddy. All in favor? Good, you're good.
I'll pay the difference tomorrow, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Sammy.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other comments? While we got you, do you want to wait to the end, Jay, or whatever, what's good for you? Supper ready for you, but
Go home, go lay it.
He's the cook, so.
wait, that means you need to really hurry. We go now or go
Yeah,
later?
that's fine. That's fine. I'm not gonna keep you very long.
Yeah,
I promise.
those of you that don't know me, I'm Jay Estes with Allen Engineering and Science. Up until about 2012, I guess, my company was doing a lot of work with the city of Petal, related to grants, to planning, ordinances, a whole bunch of other things. I didn't know how many copies I got. And not wanting to necessarily get into why that stopped being the case, but what I've given you is just some examples of some of the things that we did for the city during that time. And it was everything from, you know, grants for personal protective equipment for police and fire department to, we wrote a safe routes to school grant that was unceremoniously returned back to the state, much to my disappointment. Solid waste assistance grants, mosquito control grants, a little bit of everything. Even helped a certain person who's here get this little school started. It's a few blocks to the west of us.
Come up 3D?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Actually wrote 2 grants. Yeah. And, you know, work on a comprehensive plan, a downtown redevelopment plan, flood hazard prevention ordinance, zoning, sign ordinances, just a whole bunch of things. My degree's in urban planning and community development. I've been doing this for about 30 years now. And, you know, long story short, the mayor and I have had some conversations, Steve and I have had some conversations, and, you know, I would really love to get back in a position to help the city with these things again. There are a couple of reasons. I do it professionally. It's my job. But I also live here. I lived here since, well, about 93, 94, somewhere in that neighborhood. In the same house I've been in for 20 plus years, raised my kids here. I do have a vested interest in seeing Petal continue to improve. And, you know, just want to have an opportunity to come before you real quick, just sort of, not necessarily remind you, but tell you about some of the things that we've done in the past, good things for the city, and there's a lot of needs here, a lot that can be done. And we just, you know, obviously we've got more conversations to take place, but just sort of wanted to plant a seed for us to get back into the business of doing work for Petal.
Appreciate, Jay, I appreciate you being here. Obviously, we've had a lot of conversations. I know you talked with Steve, even though he didn't bring coffee with us. I got a little worried, but anyway.
Yeah, there's a 12-step program for Code Zero.
Jay's a good resource. He's kind of been through some of the battles, been through some of the wars when it comes to setting some stuff up. And I've often said, I think we're in kind of one of those phases that whether we do it or don't, we need to start having some of those conversations. And I think Jay's a great resource for that. And it might be a situation where he don't do it or can't do it, but I got a feeling he points in the direction.
And usually when you put him on something, usually he can find what we need.
Yeah. So I think those conversations, obviously, he's like I said,
And we've all talked about needs, you know, some of our needs that may take grants to do.
Yeah. And anything, I always said, we're getting into a cycle where we may actually have some money to do some of the matching stuff. And if there's something I need anyway, and somebody's gonna give me some extra money to actually do it, so I can do it a little bit better even, hey, I'm all ears, for that. But, Jay obviously will be in touch. We'll grab some coffee one day again.
Okay.
Might even bring Steve. But, anyway, obviously our door's open, so if you need anything for us, obviously Valerie is a great resource.
Sure.
Let's get together, as they say.
Sounds good.
Appreciate
Yeah,
that.
I'll
get to see you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jay.
All right, anybody else? Riley, we're gonna make you wait to the end, huh? Okay. All righty, let's go ahead and start, get this going. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda, items 1 through 8?
Motion.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Melissa's always tried me not to get me not to read read all of them individually, but anyway. We'll kind of do that again on number 9, proclamations and resolutions. Is there a motion to adopt a resolution assessing property cleanup fees to the following properties: 400 Smith, 410 Smith, 300 West 7th Avenue, 210 East Central Avenue, 214 East 6th Avenue? Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
And number 10, I think I'll turn this one over to Gerald.
Oh, okay, this was, still playing?
Yeah.
Okay, so, basically, I'll turn my mic on, I don't know, okay. Basically, I presented, my, a draft of a plan, and, you know, I am a kindergarten teacher, and I presented to the board, our last meeting. I asked for some, criticism and some feedback, and I did receive a little bit, I didn't receive a lot, I didn't get much back. Since that time, our mayor was, set up a meeting with, our engineer, and I was provided with a, engineer report that in part, backed up what I was saying in my plan. Mine's more comprehensive and it covers a larger area, but we now have the, city engineer saying this is the right thing to do. And I've had several, aldermen say they needed to hear that, so I'm saying. And the mayor also said that we were going to get the second step in that process started, and I'm really excited about that and want to say thank you. I do have a bit of an issue. There's a lot of, my phone blew up today. I'm a kindergarten teacher, and I'm handling kids with special needs. And my phone went off, like it hasn't gone off in a long time. Apparently there's a lot of work being done in my ward. And once again, I knew nothing about it. I seem to be the last one to have heard about it. And then I get pictures rolling. This is not one person. This is 6, 7, 8, 9 people. And those are just the ones I return calls on. And they're not very happy. The work that's happening is making things worse. I don't know who's doing this. I don't know how we're selecting these projects to get done. But I am the alderman of the ward, and I'm the one hearing about it. And it's upsetting. I pulled the AccuFund, which is where all of our work orders are. And I'm sitting here trying to read this. I can't read it. There's no information here. I can't tell where this stuff is coming from. And our job as a board is to set policy. And I don't know how to set policy to fix this problem if I don't know what's happening in my own board. And it needs to be addressed. I know this isn't the first time I've brought this up. I am trying to bring it up in a more civilized way. But like I said, I don't know who is pushing for this work to be done. I don't know why these areas are being selected. And from what I can tell, they're illogical and they seem to be making things worse. The explosion of phone calls from the little rain that we had backs that up. I am not on Facebook right now because whenever I opened it and I saw 63, I was done. No, I needed to concentrate on other things for today. But it highlights the issue. Now, my plan that is backed up by logic, science, and engineers is basically saying that the work that is being done does need to be done. However, it's being done in the wrong order. If we don't work from the exits where the water can exit and then work our way up the hill, we're causing somebody to flood. If we start work at the top of the hill and don't take into consideration where the water's going, it's going in someone's house most likely. And I have pictures to back that up as of today. So I need that to stop. And I don't know how to make it stop. And I need us to follow the plan. And I don't know how to make us follow the plan. And I need help. So if anyone here knows what's going on or knows how we can fix this and get on a plan, I would love to have that conversation. And this is the first time I brought it up, but this is the first time I brought it up publicly.
I was in that meeting with you, and I wouldn't go as strong as you are saying with the backing of the engineers. There's three particular areas, and I've made phone calls to the railroad that we could get permission and bid out that work. The other one was a cut through the, storage units to Stevens Street. Mike, you got your guys on that at some point, it'll take about a week to do, correct?
We're in the midst right now of doing Matthews Branch because it was clogging up a bunch of areas there and trying to open that Matthews Branch back up. And that's probably gonna be our next spot is to go there. The, piece of equipment we using that we cleaned up the other place between the railroad and Stevens, we had to put shop. But we got it back, so we'll be ready to rock and roll.
And the work that y'all did the other day was simply, or today was simply cleaning out culverts, if I'm not mistaken?
If you're talking about COLA,
Yeah,
over there, yeah, that was blowing out culverts. We didn't do any ditch work. It was strictly blowing out culverts. That's it. We didn't dig no ditches, none of that. All we did was blow out culverts.
Okay, so this might be a little redundant, but if we're cleaning out culverts and we're not taking into account, that will cause an increase of water flow. Clearly, the water's gonna flow through those culverts.
actually, the culverts weren't as full up as we thought they were, is that
What they
correct?
said.
Yeah, they didn't have that much
Accusation
jump.
is that we had jammed up culverts, and that just wasn't the case, as it turned out to be.
Well, I do have some before and after pictures and disagree with you.
Well, I actually got video, it's actually all over Facebook
There
today,
are
with
some exceptions.
water flowing
Now, that water flows somewhere.
to
And
Green Street.
well, no, a lot of it goes down, to Main Street, and then those pipes go down to, George Street, Stevens Street, Road Street, where people are playing. What I'm saying is, and, we were there, and the engineer said very plainly, we need to start at the water exits and work our way uphill. But what's happening is we're up on the hill, and we're just cleaning out.
On big culverts.
That's still ditch work, and we need to prioritize, we've got to have a plan. And I don't understand why that work's being done. I presented a really logical plan, and we did talk about it with the engineer, and he did back me up that, yes, we need to start at the water.
Yeah, you have a lot more stuff than the three things we were gonna look at. Now, we can have this conversation all night, if you want to. Y'all can develop some kind of plan, and we can have a vote on it.
I
And
have
I'll
developed
stay
a
within the
plan.
guidelines of
He also
what the
said-
board, we've never voted on a
I was-
plan.
I was
Said,
there.
I've got tomorrow that you can't clean out a culvert on COLA. We have no mandate that says that I'm aware of.
And then I was there too, and one thing he said, all the culverts under the driveways in that area would have to be replaced, which there's 250 of them. And $3,000 on a culvert, that's $750,000.
I mean,
Yeah, and I'm not asking for that currently. What I'm
That was
asking,
just part of what we discussed
that's,
there.
that's happening. What I'm asking for is that the order in which the ditches are addressed, take priority based on.
Can you clean out the
proximity to
ditch
exit.
between Stevens Street and the,
We didn't move forward on that because like I said, the piece of equipment had to go in the shop.
If
So
you
then
do
we
that-
started on Matthews Branch because we knew it needed to go. And so we got
that
that.
one area, so you'll get that next, it'll be the next.
Right,
thing done in
because
that area.
it's out the shop. It's ready to go.
Now, I will say that because there are 5 other wards in this town that we aren't forgetting about the other duties that we do and the things that we owe to the other citizens that live in other parts of the town. We want to be faithful to them as well.
That is correct, but I want to point out that my criticism is that the work is in the wrong places in my ward. There's a lot of work going on in my ward, and it's a lot of hard work. It's simply in the wrong locations.
No, we just cleaned a few ditches out.
That little area between, Stevens Street. and
I did get my one
We
ditch.
would have to bid out, and Mike and them did a great job, and we're able to do that.
They did. I would like to make a motion that, ditch number 2, 3, and 4 of the steel plan be done before December.
I would have to make a motion with that. I think I operate the day-to-day operation of the Bookville city. If I can find it in my purview to do it in that order, I'd be willing to do it, but I can't say what's gonna come up between that and December.
What'd you say by December?
No, I'm out of order, it should have been part of a motion.
Can I get a copy of this steel plan for the minutes?
Yes, ma'am.
I would just add that looking over the plan and not being invited to the meeting, but from my professional background and work, I I think his plan has at least a process to deal with. It's not gonna deal with everything. But again, from my background, what I've done in the Corps of Engineering, it makes sense. And sometimes it's just having a plan and not having a call out, and sometimes equipment breaks, and that adjusts the Gantt chart for that process. But I do agree with, fundamentally with the process and sequence that he's asking for. And so for that, I second the motion, within his board, those things should be done in that sequence, because it makes sense. And from my background, I can confirm that.
And I do have discussion, I think like day-to-day operations is county, that, you know, if it's able to do that, I don't have a problem with us to sit here and make it fit in a motion, and let's say, that, you know, like I said, that's why if you know, the minor may have other stuff that comes up, and that may not get them to be done in it. So I think we need to leave that up to the mayor and let him decide that, all.
Unfortunately, this looks like I'm trying to fight drainage improvements over in that ward. We haven't. I set up the meeting with John. I've made a phone call to the railroad, which will be two of the spots that Alderman Still's talking about. So it's something, I think those two things will end up having to be bid out if they'll give us a process. But I left a message. I told them I'll probably get a phone call back in the next 3 months.
Yeah, 6 months.
That they'll do, but that's two of the three spots that we really need to get. I agree with Gerald on us hitting those areas. But you know, I get the feeling the accusation is that I'm trying to rebuff things over there. My fear is I've got other aldermen here that are thinking I'm neglecting their ward, only focusing on ward.
But once again, I'm saying that the work that is being done in my ward is being done logically, and I have a logical order.
We're cleaning out culverts.
I hear you.
When they were put in, they were clean.
I have a
Like
lot
brand new
of
ones.
upset constituents
Yeah.
with the work that's being done, and it's
Cleaning
causing,
out culverts, they're mad about that.
it increases water flow, into
So
the ditches.
we got that dirt back in.
In this case, it really didn't, because there wasn't that much dirt in there. They were pretty much flowing. I mean, I'm surprised that they weren't. So there wasn't much flow restriction in there anyway. But I get it. I'm for cleaning them out in the order, and the next thing that might hit be that area between, you know, unless something else pops up, obviously. You know,
Well, you
take that
took me
into
out the other
consideration.
day and you showed me exactly what you wanted done there, and I told you, no problem, I gave you a 5 day that I have done. We got the equipment back, but I didn't want to stop him on Matthews Branch. So, you know.
We're not avoiding it. This is some of these issues that have been out there for 40 years, and we're not gonna have them solved in 3 months.
Right.
I get antsy too. I mean, I've come from the private sector, things move at a different pace, but you've done a great job on the stuff that we put you on with the resources we've given you, and I think that's actually gonna improve. Any idea when we would get a dump truck?
I think that'll be the second on the list, so we wanted to get a newer piece so it don't break down.
Yeah, skid steer first, right?
Right, that's the piece that broke
I
down.
don't think what I'm requesting is about, our equipment or our ability. I know you're capable.
The equipment broke down, is what I'm trying to say, and we've got it back now, but I don't want to pull him off Matthews Branch to come back and do that section.
Understood. I'm not asking for anything to be done tomorrow. By December.
That's good to hear.
I follow,
Not the December part, but
I
the
follow you,
tomorrow
Mark.
part.
And it's all gotta go out underneath the Railroad Street Bridge. It's gotta go that way. Why are we responsible for the Railroad Street Bridge, and why do we have to build it? Because it's up to according to your flow, it all goes out right there.
Coming over,
Or-
coming at the culvert under the
Yes,
river track.
yes, it's either gotta go there, it's
And
gotta go back up, or we gotta go underneath the bridge, or back underneath the community.
Yeah.
Into the-
We think that's plugged up. That's one of the things I think we'll end up having to bid
The
out.
problem is we clear everything else out in that order and don't do the Railroad Street Bridge first, it's got nowhere to go.
Now,
And that's
that's partially correct.
According to your plan, that's the way it reads.
That is partially correct. Now ditch 4, the purple line,
Yeah.
would, basically cure the issues for an entire neighborhood, and provide another outlet for the entire area to reach the river.
If it goes where though?
It would go north of the Gandy, and it would meet up to the Green Street.
That's still what I was talking about.
And that is, we are capable of doing that. And I've called NDOT and I've called the railroad, and they basically say there's already a ditch there, so we're just cleaning it. And then as far as the ditches that lead up to the railroad, the engineer, and that's actually what the report was about, was that area. And the engineer, our city engineer, actually recommended cleaning out the exact same ditches I outlined in my plan previously. And Tony is on one of those ditches. And then the third ditch, number 3, is over just north of Cola. And it's the main ditch that reaches Greens Creek. It's grossly overdone. This is just the first part of the first step. And I needed to take priority.
When you say priority, it's priority. Whoa.
Yeah.
Keep going. It's priority within your ward of the ditch work.
Yeah.
Instead of doing it out of sequence, based on a engineering logical process, which I agree with.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's why I said it's not competing with work.
And the reason I
5,
mentioned
6.
those ditches in that order, there is a logic behind it. And the city engineer did indeed agree with me on these things, with you present. And he also pointed out that if we're doing work anywhere else off of that, it will make it worse for somebody else. And he said that
I didn't hear it.
Can we ask our engineer, Don, to be at our next meeting? So we can have more comprehensive discussion.
Did you receive the plan? I have that
here on
whole
Tuesday.
engineer report.
I did, but I'm not an engineer, so I'd like to have a discussion with you.
Anyway.
Oop, I just lost mine.
Hold on 1 second. Yep, there we go. Now that was your We're actually, we're here. Folks, we're working on the video. We'll get it back to you as soon as we can. Anyway, there was if I'm not mistaken, there was a motion and a second
Yes.
on this. Anybody want to move forward on this?
This is to proceed with the plan that Gerald has, but not on the timeframe.
He had the time frame still in there.
The time frame was by December.
Semi there and then really what's going on, but I just call it like a message today.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's. It says it's all connection, so I don't know.
That was